Ina mana, ina reo, ira rangatira mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa, my warmest regards to you all. And it's great to be here, gathered to watch the Downer Tararua Sports Awards at home with friends and family and gathered throughout the Tararua district. Welcome to the Downer Tararua Sports Awards this evening, and a special welcome and thank you to our Wairarapa MP, Kieran McAnulty, who's tonight's MC. And it's really special for me today as we improvise with the impacts of COVID-19 to be recording here at Bush Multisport with Ripper Rugby in the background. Bush Multisport has long been held as the jewel in the crown for Sport Manawatoa and for us here in the Tararua district. It's great to have our dedicated MP working for us in Tararua. Kieran's not only passionate about sport, he's played in both parliamentary teams for cricket and rugby. And I remember him coming off the field in Mangatanoka. He's an MP that doesn't mind getting his sleeves dirty. So we really appreciate Kieran emceeing for us this evening, which I will imagine will be quite a difficult task, having this being carried out virtually. Whātonga was one of three chiefs that came across on board the Kurahopo Waka that journeyed across the Pacific Ocean to Aotearoa, New Zealand. Whātonga was known as a great explorer, and on one expedition he paddled up the Manawatu River and he stopped at Te Apiti and climbed to the highest point. He looked out and all he saw in all directions was a great unbroken forest. He named that forest Te Tapiri Nui o Whātonga, 26 generations ago. It means the Great District or food basket. The Tararua district was formed just 33 years ago by amalgamation. Whātonga also named our Mona, mountains, Tararua and Ruahine after his wives. Tonight's very special as we gather to celebrate our sporting success and athletes throughout the Tararua district. COVID-19 has again provided disruption and we find ourselves with our first ever online awards. At the time of organising this event, we were in a very different setting. COVID has provided many challenges for our athletes, disrupting training and having so many events cancelled. Sport's an integral part of our lives in the Tararua district, and it's always noticeable when you look out at a tournament such as the primary schools here with over 160 children here today participating. They learn the benefits of being active, getting along, working together, commitment to others, the joy of winning and the disappointment of a loss, and the resilience to turn up again and try the following week. There are so many lessons in life which come from participating in sport. To the sponsors that are watching tonight, thank you. Without your assistance, not only this event wouldn't be possible, but also the support that you give to our athletes, because as our community knows, it's the same people that champion our district, put us on the map and often come back and share their skill and talent as we learn from their journey. Thank you for your contribution to growing great people. To those that have done just as much as a coach, a referee or a part of a sports committee and give their time back to sport and the people that they love so much and help others. Thank you, and I hope it makes you proud to see the achievements tonight that you have contributed to. Sport grows great citizens, and I always remember this as a parent as I sizzled sausages to pay for that trip, paid fees, gear and tournaments, and went through a set of tyres every year travelling to the hockey turf in Palmerston North. And I still very much love the turf that's here in Pahiatua. And we've spent many hours on sidelines watching different codes. Family holidays for us weren't about where we wanted to visit, but where the tournament was being played. Our facilities play a critical part in the growth that we're seeing throughout the Tararua district, as we're attracting many new residents. And when we talk about what attracts them here, it's about affordability, it's about facilities and a friendly and welcoming people. We're incredibly fortunate at Council to have staff who also care greatly and look after our facilities so well. To our sport Manawatu whānau, especially Leah and Brad, who are as enthusiastic and passionate about Tararua. Our thanks also to Trevor Shaler, the CE of Sport Manawatu, for his 8 years service and the instrumental role he played in developing a focused and successful organisation that has supported us and the region in the health and well-being for our communities through play, active recreation and sport. We wish him well for the future as he leaves for his next challenge. We're incredibly proud that our participation rates are above the national average and thank Sport Manawatu for the terrific job they do in promoting, encouraging and making this possible. To all the parents, coaches and sponsors that help, thank you again for helping us as a district to achieve our vision and becoming a healthy, vibrant and connected community where our people flourish. Congratulations to all those that received a nomination this evening and your outstanding achievements. It's certainly made a tough job for the judges. I leave you with our whakatuaki, gifted to us by Cherry Piti and Arapira Paiwai. Let the winds of the Ruahine and Tararua give you strength. Let the waters of the Manawatu nourish you, for we are the pounamu of Te Tāpiri Nui o Whātonga. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou, g'day everyone. Thank you for joining us to celebrate sporting success at the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. I'm Kieran McAnulty, your MC for this awards ceremony. Firstly, we'd like to thank our sponsors for making this awards ceremony possible. So a big thank you to Downer, Tararua District Council, Bush Telegraph, Dannyverk Carriers, Property Brokers Pahiatua and Woodville, Dannyverk New World, Scan Power Electricity Networks, New Zealand Natural Clothing and Physique Optometrists, Dannyverk and Pahiatua. We hope you enjoy your night, however you may be celebrating, whether you are at one of the viewing parties, celebrating with your club or with your whānau. We hope you had a good night celebrating the successes of those nominated at the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. Now I'd like to introduce Sport Manawatu Acting CEO Tania Lennon to say a few words.
Hello, and thank you to everyone for joining us for the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. I'm Tania Lennon, Sport Manawatu's Acting CEO. I'd like to acknowledge all of the finalists and winners of the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. As we all know, it's been a tough year for many, with the cancellation of many regional, national and international competitions. Sport Manawatu are happy to still be able to celebrate the sporting achievements of all the athletes, coaches, administrators and volunteers from the Tararua district. Even though this year the awards are virtual, it has been great to see viewing parties pop up around the Tararua district so people can still celebrate their successes with their friends and whānau. Sport Manawatu has had a large focus on sport, play and active recreation. This year, 2 new categories have been included in the Sports Awards to acknowledge the work that the community does in the active recreation and play space, and to recognise the impacts that COVID-19 has had on the community and how community groups and organisations have responded to this ongoing challenge. Sport Manawatu would also like to take this opportunity to thank the sponsors for their continued support during these tough times. Without our incredible sponsors, events like this would not be able to go ahead. So thank you to Downer, Tararua District Council, Physique Optometrists Dannyverk and Pahiatua, Dannyverk Carriers, Scan Power, New World Dannyverk, Bush Telegraph, Property Brokers Pahiatua and Woodville and New Zealand Natural Clothing. Again, a huge congratulations to all the finalists and winners of the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. Ngā mihi nui.
Thank you, Tania. We'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the judging panel for this year. The judging panel was made up of representatives from community boards and community committees in the Tararua district. This year we have added 2 additional categories to celebrate not only the sporting success in the Tararua district, but also celebrate the play and active recreation space and how our community has responded to the COVID-19 challenges. Every year we have had a number of excellent nominations and by all accounts this year was no different. Now, straight into the awards. So our first award is the Dannevirke New World Coach of the Year. The finalists are Nigel Castles. Nigel has been head coach of the Dannevirke Sports Club Senior 2s since 2018. In 2018, the team came runner-up in the competition and have since won the last 3 years, 2019, 2020 and 2021. As an old boy of the club, Nigel gives a huge amount to the team and the club, well beyond the usual expectation of a coach. This includes organising club events, sponsorship and more. Nigel has become a key member of the team and is somewhat a father figure to the younger players. Adam Jones. Adam is the owner and coach at BAM's Boxing Club Dannevirke. Adam has coached Connor Anderson towards 4 national titles in 2021, including New Zealand National Champion in November 21, New Zealand Golden Gloves Champion in July, North Island Golden Gloves Champion in June, and Manawatu Champion in May 2021. And the last finalist for Coach of the Year is Angus Hutton. Angus has been involved with the Woodville Association Football Club for 2 seasons. He has no children involved in the club, so he has volunteered purely for his passion for football. He has also developed a football in schools program where the club invited local schools to hold a football session run by Angus and the football club. Angus also coached a 7-a-side team in the Tararua competition, and the team did well through the 2021 season. Angus always goes the extra mile for his team and the club. They are proud to have him as a volunteer. The judges wish to acknowledge Nigel Castles and Angus Hutton with a mention of being highly commended. The winner of the Coach of the Year is Adam Jones. Now we move on to the NZME Bush Telegraph Administrator Volunteer of the Year. And our finalists are Andrew Abuthnot. Andrew has been a long-time volunteer and organiser of the Pahiatua Amateur Swimming Club, which runs lessons for kids in our community. Andrew is excellent at not only providing coaching, but also creating an encouraging atmosphere for all involved. Andrew makes a real point of sharing his coaching skills with the younger coaches so they can grow their skill sets. Bex Brown. Bex has been involved with Bush Senior Rugby since 2018, taking on the role of the club executive. Bex has a passion for rugby and puts her heart and soul into the club. Bex is currently Bush Senior Chair and has held that position since 2020. Bex helps the club retain and gain new sponsorships and is a strong advocate for the club. In 2021, Bex was elected to the Manawatu Club Rugby Executive. In 2022, voted Vice Chair. This is a huge achievement, especially being a female elected to the board that is predominantly males. This is a huge asset for the Tararua district to have a representative advocating for the community. Bex attends the majority of games and both their trainings during the week. She is a committed chair who doesn't mind helping out where required. Bex has strong leadership and governance skills, and everyone on the committee has been set clear guidelines of responsibility. Angus Hutton. Angus has been involved with Woodville Association Football Club for 2 seasons. As mentioned, he has no children involved in the club and has volunteered purely for his passion for football. Last season, he created a sponsorship program in which he gained local business support and sponsorship to the club. He also developed a football in schools program where the club invited local schools to hold a football session run by Angus and the club. Our next finalist is Kayla Christensen. Kayla became the Dannevirke Sports Club Administrator in March 2021. In that time, she's applied for an extensive amount of funding and she's organised all of the individual sport coaches, managers, uniforms and so forth. She has also, in her spare time, cut up, bagged and delivered the half-time fresh orange snacks. She goes above and beyond to make sure that every sport in the club is properly managed so the players can go out and just have some fun. Ever since Kayla has become the administrator, the Dannevirke Sports Club's presence has become more noticeable, which has been especially difficult with the COVID outbreaks. Troy Leggett. Troy puts a lot of time and effort into coaching soccer and establishing new teams. He ensures that everyone has the opportunity to play and has done a lot of work in finding new grounds where they can play. Tony Mansell. Tony volunteers his time in helping out coaching at BAMS Boxing. Tony helped to train Connor Anderson to his titles this year. His knowledge of the sport is incredibly valued in the gym, and the time he puts in is appreciated by everyone. Before we announce the winner, the judges would like to acknowledge Angus Hutton as highly commended. And the winner of the NZME Bush Telegraph Administrator Volunteer of the Year is Bex Brown. Now we are moving on to one of our new categories, the Dannevirke Carriers Community Play and Active Recreation Initiative of the Year. This category was open to an organisation or physical activity provider who had undertaken a play or active recreation initiative in the 2021 nomination period that resulted in creating change and having a positive impact on the community. The finalists for this Play and Active Recreation Initiative of the Year are Bush Multi-Sports Trust with the Bush Multi-Sports Loose Parts Play Park. After gathering insights to see if a loose parts play park would be something the children would like, Tararua Recreation Advisor at the time, D Parks, and the facility manager presented to the Bush Multi-Sports Board the idea of having a loose parts play park as part of the facility. At first, there was hesitation from the board on how we would keep this area of the sale yard site respectable and for it not to become a dumping ground. From this discussion, it was decided to apply for a garden shed, a boundary fence, and employ a local rangatahi to act as caretaker of the park, to keep it tidy and mitigate these risks and concerns from the board. The pilot has exceeded the expectation of the board, and when driving past the park they are amazed at the new and different creations that have been made. Piloting this project, which is there to stay, has allowed our children to experience play as it was 20 years ago. It is great to see parents being involved in play by helping the tamariki build and play. Often you will drive past and see an adult holding a piece of wood or other items while the tamariki are building creations. These styles of parks make parents interact with their children. The Loose Parts Play Park is integral to the well-being of children through the social, cognitive, physical and emotional development it provides. Our next finalist is Eketahuna Our Town Incorporated Fitness Track. Eketahuna Our Town have recently installed a lime track with fitness stances around the rugby pitches in Eketahuna. It enables all ages, genders and cultures from across the board to participate in their own fitness regime with a club or group. This track allows community members and visitors to empower themselves and improve all aspects of their well-being, their physical, mental and social well-being. The track and stances are used continually, being a great addition to Eketahuna's sports ground. The initiative was enabled with support from local community, lotteries, Waireka Trust, Pahiatua Maita 10 and voluntary hard graft from community members. A great success and enabler for the people and community of Eketahuna. And the final finalist is Jane Phillips-Bell from JPB Fitness. Jane of JPB Fitness has been actively involved in community recreation initiatives. She created the Community Fitness Project and collaborated with other fitness providers to encourage the local community to engage in free exercise every weekend over autumn and winter last year. She promoted this locally, and while a koha was not needed, she encouraged people to donate to the Mental Health Foundation of New Zealand. She also encouraged the youth of Dannevirke to get involved in exercise by providing free exercise sessions to local rangatahi, and also previously implemented the Be Active and Move Your Mood exercise sessions in the community. There were lots of people from the community attending these sessions, and it was a very positive outcome, especially for a rural community in winter to be getting out and about and exercising. And the very first winner of the Dannevirke Carriers Community Play and Active Recreation Initiative of the Year is Bush Multi-Sport Trust and the Loose Parts Play Park. Our next award this evening is the Property Brokers Team of the Year. And the finalists are Dannevirke Sports Club Senior 2 Rugby Team. The Dannevirke Sports Club Senior 2s, the Dazzlers, won the Manawatu Senior 2 competition for the third year running in 2021. In a tough year with COVID disrupting the season, the small country team pulled together to not only finish the round robin top of the table, but went on to win the final. Our next finalist is the Tararua Girls First 11 football team. The Tararua College Girls First 11 football team performed with excellence at a regional level by winning the Manawatu Girls Championship competition for 2021. They won all of their games and were top of the table with a 9-point difference to second place. They scored 31 goals and conceded only 5 against them for the entire season. These girls consistently played to the highest ability and always with a smile on their faces. Ngāti Kahanunu ki Tamaki Nuiarua Under 15 Tama Basketball. Tamaki Nuiarua Under 15 team entered the 2021 Māori Basketball Nationals with high expectations of competing for the championship. During round robin, the team was competing against some of the best individual talent and teams in New Zealand. The team went through round robin undefeated, which advanced them to the championship game against Ahuriri. Ahuriri is a team with all regional players as well as 4 national representatives. The championship game was very competitive, with no team taking a lead larger than 6 points. And with 30 seconds to go, Ahuriri had a 1-point lead. However, they were able to make 2 clutch baskets and get a steal, which was enough to win the Under 15 Māori basketball grade for 2021. Tararua College First 11 Hockey. The Tararua College Girls First 11 Hockey team performed with excellence at a regional level by winning the Manawatu Hockey First Division Secondary School competition for 2021. They scored 67 goals for the season and only had 12 goals scored against them. Unfortunately, they could not attend the tournament due to it being cancelled because of COVID. These girls had a fantastic season, trained very hard, and had a lot of fun on and off the turf, and really bonded as a team for the whole season. Bush Men's Hockey Team. In 2021, the Bush Men's Hockey Team was entered into the Manawatu Hockey competition for the very first time. There had been a demand for senior level men's hockey in the Tararua district for some time, and the dream was made a reality in early 2021. The men were entered into the Division 3 competition, which is a social grade played on Friday nights. The Bushmen had an outstanding season and sat at the top of the table throughout the winter competition. They did Bush Hockey Club and the Tararua district proud on finals day when they became the new winners of the Division 3 men's trophy. And our final finalist for this category is the Tararua Women's C-Grade Squash Team. The Tararua Ladies C-Grade Super Champs team competed in the Central District's Regional C-Grade Super Champs Squash Tournament in Wanganui. They played against all the regions in the Central District area. The team went through unbeaten and won the tournament for the second year in a row. This qualified the team for Nationals down south in September 2021. I have it noted how hard the judges found it to choose the winner of this category due to the high level of achievements from the teams entered this year. Therefore, the judges would like to acknowledge Tararua Women's C-Grade Squash Team and Dannevirke Sports Club Senior 2 Rugby Team with a mention of being highly commended. And the winner of the Property Brokers Team of the Year is Ngāti Kahungunu ki Tamaki Nuiarua Under 15 Tama Basketball. Our next category is Dannevirke Carriers Official of the Year. And our first finalist is Liam Brown. Liam became a rugby referee in 2021, this being his first year as a referee for the Manawatu Rugby Union. Liam has taken on refereeing for the Union after deciding to stop playing at college level rugby. Liam has had a successful start to his refereeing career. Some of Liam's highlights for the 2021 year is he has been an assistant referee for the Hurricanes Youth Under-19 Wairarapa versus Whanganui game, the 2021 Tararua 7-a-side senior grade and finals referee. Liam won Tararua College Jubilee Cup for his valuable contribution to junior rugby refereeing, and Liam was a finalist for the Manawatu Secondary School Sports Awards Official Boy of the Year. Liam is passionate about his refereeing, and his commitment to the sport is shown in the hours he puts into the sport, both in community and professional rugby. Our next finalist for the Danny Burke Carriers Official of the Year is Ken Metakingi. Although residing for work in Palmerston North, Ken continues to maintain strong lines with the Tararua community where he grew up and completed his education. He has a keen interest in supporting young and developing players, umpires in both the Tararua and Manawatu Centre in the Future Ferns or holiday programs. Ken umpired the Netball Manawatu Premier 1 final, and he was the ANZ Premiership umpire in April 2021. As New Zealand's youngest international netball umpire, Ken continues to achieve highly at national and international level, resulting in his selection to both Pacific Australia Netball Series and Commonwealth Games in 2022. The judges would like to acknowledge Liam Brown as being highly commended. And the winner of the Danny Burke Carriers Official of the Year is Ken Metakingi. And now on to our Scan Power Junior Sportsman of the Year. Our finalists are Cameron Walker. Cameron is an amazing sports person. He loves cricket, running and swimming. Cameron was a part of the Under-17 Manawatu cricket team that won the Central District Tournament. He was named Manawatu Under-17 Cricket Fielder of the Year. As well as this, Cameron competed in the Manawatu Swimming Champs, Senior Boys, where he placed first in the 100-metre backstroke, first in the 50-metre backstroke and second in the 50-metre butterfly. Cameron competed in the Manawatu Cross Country Senior Boys category where he placed 8th, which qualified him for the North Island Cross Country Champs Under-18 category where he placed 16th. He then went on to compete in the New Zealand Cross Country Champs Senior Boys category. Cameron was selected to run in the New Zealand National Cross Country Champs in Dunedin and the New Zealand Athletics Road Relay Championships in Christchurch as a part of the Fielding Mowers Colts team. Both of these were unfortunately cancelled due to COVID. Our next finalist is Connor Anderson. Connor has had another awesome year with his boxing, winning the biggest titles up for grabs in the junior boxing division. Some of Connor's 2021 highlights are he was runner-up Hawke's Bay Tournament, Manawatu Champion, North Island Golden Gloves Champion, New Zealand Golden Gloves Champion and the New Zealand National Champion. Connor is very committed to his boxing, he trains hard and it shows in his trophy cabinet. Our next finalist is Ollie Corbin. Ollie has been racing motocross since the age of 9 and competing all over the North Island with some amazing results. He trains both on and off the bike to keep his fitness and skill level. His skill level has been developing each time he races, and it's awesome to watch him progress in such a technical sport. Some of Ollie's achievements are second place in the Central Hawke's Bay 2-day event, second in the Waikato Super Mini Class Champs, first place in the Manawatu Orion Series 85 class, and first overall in the 85 class Hawke's Bay Series. And our last finalist in the Scan Power Junior Sportsman of the Year is Taylor Hall. Taylor is an all-round sportsman. He is captain of the Second 15 Rugby and Player of the Year for the college Second 11 cricket team. He has had an extremely successful 2021 athletics season, breaking 3 Tararua College records on Athletics Day. At the Manawatu Inter-School Athletics competition, Taylor came second in long jump and first in the 400 metre race. At the North Island Secondary School Athletics, Taylor came second in the 300 metres. The New Zealand Secondary School Athletics was cancelled in 2021 due to COVID. Taylor competed in the Manawatu Interprovincial Teams event over Easter weekend 2021. There were over 100 kids his age that competed. Taylor ended up with an individual placing of 7th overall. And the winner of the Scan Power Junior Sportsman of the Year is Connor Anderson. Our next award is the New Zealand Natural Clothing Junior Sportswoman of the Year. Our first finalist is Abby Treader. Abby is an all-round sports person. She has represented the Tararua district at both a regional and national level in cricket, squash and hockey. Abby was in the Manawatu Senior School cricket team, Manawatu Development Cricket Team, under 15 and under 18 girls cricket teams, and attended the Central District's under 17 cricket camp. Abby was selected to play in the Central District's women's franchise team. This team went on to win the franchise tournament. Abby received the top Manawatu Women's Club T20 player, top batter and MVP at the young age of 16. Abby was a part of the Central District's junior squash team and Central District Squash Girls High Performance Squad. Central District's C-grade Ladies Super Champs team that Abby was a part of won the regional tournament. The next finalist is Sophie Hunter. Sophie has danced since she was 4 years old. She started with ballet and soon after picked up hip-hop, jazz, contemporary and lyrical. Since 9 years old, Sophie has danced competitively and competes in competitions over New Zealand. She also attends dance conventions and workshops over New Zealand and travels to Palmerston North up to 5 times a week. She currently trains at Dance Work Studios and Anomaly Dance Studio. In the PMDA impromptu competition, Sophie won the impromptu lyrical, impromptu jazz and impromptu contemporary categories. Sophie won the Georgia Bergeson Trophy for Most Outstanding Modern Dancer. Sophie also received the Stage to Studio Trophy for Most Promising Senior Competitor 13 plus years. In the Stage 2 Studio Dance Competition, Sophie came first in the Senior Over 15 Contemporary, Jazz and Lyrical categories, as well as first place in the Over 13 Own Choreography and Jazz Impromptu. On top of all of this, Sophie won the Senior Modern Championship. Our final finalist for the New Zealand Natural Clothing Junior Sportswoman of the Year is Amy Powick. Amy is a passionate football player. She is strong, fast and able to read the game well. A natural leader, Amy plays in both the centre-back and defensive midfield positions. Amy has been playing above her age group. She was selected for the under-18 Manawatu team. Unfortunately, the national tournament for the central team was cancelled due to COVID, so a one-off match was played against Wellington. Amy was selected for the under-15 Girls Central Federation football team game versus Wellington. And the winner of the New Zealand Natural Clothing Junior Sportswoman of the Year is Abby Treader. We would now like to introduce Liam Brown, an extremely talented up-and-coming rugby referee.
Hi, I'm Liam Brown. I'm a rugby referee for Manawatu Rugby. I go to Tararua College and I'm 15 years old. So I played rugby for 4 years before I was playing, before I started refereeing. And yeah, now I made the transition to refereeing. I have 2 big highlights that I've really liked. Last year in 2021, I got the opportunity to go down to Wellington and run water for the referees for the All Black Sevens matches and for the Hurricanes versus Crusaders last year. That was a pretty cool opportunity I got through Manawatu Rugby and Wellington Rugby. I was really fortunate for that. And in the future, I really would like to get to refereeing international rugby and just getting quite up high there and high through the ranks, yeah. I've got a few good key people. My mum, she's been a great help. She's taking me everywhere I need to go. She's pushed me really hard to get to the right people to kind of talk and just push me. And I've Bridget Bailey, our sports coordinator at school. She's been quite good, just connecting with the union and Sport Manawatu too. Brittany Andrews from Mountie Rugby. She's just my biggest person. She always came down on Saturdays to kind of support me. My advice for other young referees and people that are seeking to try to get into it is just really put your name out there and just try to seek out as much as you can to the right people and just talk to other people, mindful people.
We now are moving on to one of our newly created categories. This category was open to an organisation who showed an innovative approach in adapting to the significant disruption and hardship caused by the COVID-19 global pandemic. Our first nomination for the Tararua District Council COVID-19 Response Award is a special one. This nomination is for all of the Tararua youth. Here's what the nomination reads. I would like to nominate all the students of the Tararua District. In response to the past 2 years, our sports students have had to show amazing resilience, from staggered trainings, cancellations, lack of game support because family were unable to watch games, improvement and wins that only had verbal acknowledgement because no one watched, and loss of opportunity to travel. But amazingly, these students still remain keen to train, keen to play, and excited to be now returning to some normality. Their future success relies on our whole community supporting them and acknowledging them. So to all Tararua, Tamariki and Rangatahi, congratulations on your well-deserved nomination. Our next finalist for the Tararua District Council COVID-19 Response Award is Jane Phillips-Bell from JPB Fitness. During the past 2 years, JPB Fitness has taken a lot of classes and PT sessions online. This has encouraged often very isolated members to stay active even when they are busy in lockdown and with young children. Jane strongly encouraged people to continue to exercise during lockdowns and developed an online group for people to do live workouts and stay active. She has since introduced an app for people to use to keep members exercising consistently and looking after their own well-being during these uncertain times. Our next finalist is Bush Junior Hockey Club. Bush Junior Hockey Club was presented with the challenge to hold or not to hold the Term 4 outdoor hockey competition held at the Bush Multisports Turf. The club asked the Bush primary schools to see whether they would participate if we could adhere to all the guidelines. The majority of schools confirmed they would be playing. The club had to put a lot of procedures in place for this competition to happen, which required many hours of planning. Tamariki and parents had to adhere to strict guidelines and protocols. 267 Tamariki played in the competition, which was fantastic, as the club wasn't sure what the numbers would be. Many comments were received from schools and parents to congratulate the club on making it happen in such unprecedented times. To make this happen, the club put in a lot of work and more volunteers were required to help on the night to make sure all guidelines were adhered to. The committee were diligent in their preparation for the season, which allowed for the 267 Tamariki to play for the term. And our last finalist for the Tararua District Council COVID-19 Response Award goes to Central and Southern Hawke's Bay Show Jumping Club. Due to many event cancellations, the show jumping group made the decision to hold a pop-up show in November. Many riders, both young and old, had horses and ponies fit and ready to go. Whether it's a young pony club child attending their first show, a young rider working towards their first pony Grand Prix, or an elite rider aiming for their first start in a World Cup round, this event filled the gap where many events had been cancelled. The decision to hold the event was made on the 18th of October and the event was held on the 6th and 7th of November 2021. So in just under 3 weeks, the group put together a schedule, received a sign-off from Equestrian NZ, applied for funding, sourced enough volunteers and made a plan as to how to run under level 2 restrictions. They had 330 riders entered on 543 horses, an extraordinary number considering there were no entries from the north due to level 3 lockdowns. This number reflected the keenness of the riders to be out competing. Gatherings of up to 100 people in a defined space were allowed. The Dannevirke Showgrounds lent itself to be divided into 4 bubbles of 100 or less, 3 for camping and stabling, and 1 for day competitions. As competitors arrived on the grounds, they scanned into their bubble and were to stay in there unless competing. This ended up being a hugely successful event and greatly appreciated by the equestrian community. This was reflected by the number of entries and the good competition that was had. This event was also a benefit to the local community, as competitors spent at supermarkets, motels, garages, vets, rural outlets, to name a few, and it also provides revenue for the Dannevirke AMP. And the winner of the Tararua District Council COVID-19 Response Award is the Central and Southern Hawke's Bay Show Jumping Club. And now we are lucky to be joined by Leah Powick, who has been studying and training in America.
Okay, so my name's Leah Pollock and I'm a student athlete over in America. I go to Concordia University, Irvine, where I'm a member of the women's track and field team, and I do the 200 metre sprint and 400 metre sprint. I'm studying a kinesiology degree, and I've just completed my first year out of 4 years, and I'll do an extra year if I complete a master's. I'm from Pahiatua and I went to Tararua College where I was the head girl, and I completed year 13 in 2020. Moving to a different country all by myself at such a young age was quite the experience. There was a lot of unknown, but that led to a lot of excitement. It was a big change in terms of finding friends and becoming more independent, but that added to the experience and the fun of everything. I think I was ready for the change. The other interesting thing about America is that they do not have feedgoers and they have no clue what an iced chocolate is. I first asked for an iced chocolate at a cafe, was rejected, and I was like, that's strange. Later to find out they have no clue what they are. My highlights so far in terms of my sport have been that I was able to travel to a lot of the indoor meets. That's quite a privilege because they do select a travel roster, and it was quite amazing because I've never run on an indoor track, and there's lots of different types of indoor tracks. I got to see a bit more of America. I went to Kansas, New Mexico, Colorado, and so that was quite fun. In terms of schooling, I've met a lot of great people, and the core classes that they have at the universities are quite interesting. My math class, we spent a whole unit on learning about what infinity was, so that was really fun. The challenges I had to face and overcome, there were some that I had to deal with before even heading over to America. Overcoming an injury, a very significant injury. I ruptured tendons and ligaments in my ankle before heading over, and that was about a 2-month rehab and a period of time where I wasn't able to tell the coaches what I was doing for training and give them results for my performances and things like that. The goals that I hope to achieve in the future regarding my sport is to keep working on my personal bests and my distances that I run and compete in. For school, I want to complete my degree to the highest level I can, and for the future it would be to open my own strength and conditioning business. My biggest influence so far has been my mum. She's been a great role model, and she's taught me a lot about mental toughness, and she always knows what to say, and she's passed on everything that she's learnt trying to compete at a high level as well. So being back for 3 months before I go and start my second year at university, I'm going to be enjoying being back in the Kiwi culture, the food, the people, the community. But aside from that, I'm going to be continuing to work on my training and making sure that I get ahead for the season. The off season is where you can make the most gains. and I'll also be working on some academic studies as well as selling some firewood. Along with all of that, I'm going to be coaching the Tararua women's basketball team. I've had experience playing basketball, and it's going to be great to give back to the school and help develop these young ballers.
Thank you, Leah. What an incredible year you've had. And now we move on to the Physique Optometrist Sportsperson of the Year Award. Our first finalist is Sam Tipene. Sam is a massive part of Bush Rugby and Manawatu Rugby. She does a lot of the work behind the scenes for her club and was the woman who started up the Bush Women's Rugby team in 2021. She does the majority of the admin work for the club and player coached in 2021. She is also a leader and senior player of the Manawatu Cyclones. She has played for the Cyclones for 8 years. She was awarded the Cyclones Players Player of the Year in 2021. This award is selected by the players and is well deserved, as Sam is seen as a big sister to a lot of the players in the team. Sam was part of the team that won the FPC Championship in 2021. Our next finalist is David Buick. David is a farmer and shearer who has a passion for both. As well as running a farm and a shearing business, he also competes most weekends in his chosen sport of shearing. He has represented New Zealand in shearing in 15 test matches in New Zealand, Australia, as well as the UK. In 2021, David competed in the following competition: the Lumsden Winton, Horowhenua Cup, Dannevirke Open, Taumaranui Open, Southland Open, Taranaki Open, QMU Open and the Oxford Open. David is the 2021 champion for all of those events. In 2021, David was also named North Island and South Island Shearer of the Year, New Zealand Long Wool Shearing Champion and New Zealand Crossbreed Shearing Champion. David is currently ranked #1 shearer in New Zealand. Our next finalist is Megan Hull. Megan played as a defender for the New Zealand Women's Black Sticks hockey team at the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021. The New Zealand woman finished 8th out of 16 teams. Megan played in the Trans-Tasman Series, Black Sticks vs Australia games in Palmerston North, Black Sticks vs Australia in Perth, July 2021, and Black Sticks vs Argentina, China, Spain, Japan, Australia and the Netherlands in Tokyo at the Olympics. Megan is currently co-captain of the Vantage Black Sticks women's hockey team. Our last finalist in the Physique Optometrist Sportsperson of the Year category is Jana Mehaida. Jana entered the 2021 Manawatu Strongest Man as defending champion and was up against very strong opposition, which included past Manawatu Strongmen champions and New Zealand's Strongest Man competitors. Jana finished on the podium in 3rd place. Jana also competed in the Manawatu Highland Games and came away with the gold. With this victory, Jana was invited to compete at the annual New Zealand Rural Games held in Palmerston North. However, due to COVID, the tournament was cancelled. And the winner of the Physique Optometrist Sportsperson of the Year is Megan Hull. We have reached the pinnacle award for the ceremony, the Downer Supreme Sportsperson of the Year Award. The judges wish to acknowledge both Abby Treader and Connor Anderson as highly commended. The winner of the Downer Supreme Sportsperson of the Year Award is Megan Hull.
Hey everybody, Megan Hull here. I just want to say a huge massive thank you for this award tonight. I feel so honoured and privileged to receive this and know that I'm just super proud to come from the Tararua region and from the Māori Pongaroa. So yeah, just a huge thank you for me. Honestly, it really means a lot. I just want to So massive congratulations to all the finalists, to all the nominees, and to everybody that's been involved in creating this. I know that the region has so many talented people sporting wise, and it's so cool to follow. So just a massive congratulations to everybody as well. Just up in Auckland at the moment and preparing to head off for the World Cup, which begins in 4 weeks time. We're heading over to Amsterdam to play in that, and then following that we'll be heading on to Commonwealth Games. So an exciting and big couple of months ahead, which we're really looking forward to in the Black Stick side, and hopefully can get some good results. But yeah, all the very best to everybody for the remainder of the year, and hope to catch up soon. Thanks so much, team. Bye.
Well, that wraps up the 2022 Downer Tararua Sports Awards. Firstly, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. We hope you've had a lovely time with your friends and whānau. Thank you and congratulations to all of our finalists and winners. We'll be in touch shortly with how we can get trophies and certificates out. And once again, a big thank you to our sponsors: Downer, Tararua District Council, Bush Telegraph, Danny Verk Carriers, Property Brokers Pahiatua and Woodville, Danny Verk New World, Scan Power Electricity Networks, New Zealand Natural Clothing, and Physique Optometrists, Danny Verk and Pahiatua. Thank you for being part of tonight's celebrations. Ka kite anō.